Hello viewers. Today I'm going to study chapter 4 of Geography class ninth. So here we go on our reading. In the last two chapter, you have read about the landforms and the drainage of our country. There are two of the three basic elements that one learn about the natural environment of any area. In this chapter you will learn about the third, that is the or atmosphere condition that prevails over our country. Why do we wear woolen in December, or why it is hot and uncomfortable in the month of May, and why rain is June and July? The answer is to all this question can be found out the study the climate of India. Climate refers to sum of total weather condition and variation over a large area for a long period of time, more than 30 years. Weather refers to state of atmosphere over an area at any point of time. The elements of weather and climate are same, i.e., temperature, atmosphere, pressure, wind, humidity, precipitation. You may have observed that the weather condition fluctuate very often, even within a day, but there is some common pattern over a few weeks or month. I today are cool or hot, windy or calm, cloudy or bright and wet or dry. On the basis of the generalized monthly atmosphere conditions, the year is divided into seasons such as a winter season or rainy season. The world is divided into numbers of the climatic region. Do you know what type of the climate India has and why it is so? We will learn about it in this chapter. The climate of India is described as the monsoon type. In Asia, this type of in Asia, this type of climate is found mainly in the south and the southeast. And despite an overall unity in the general pattern, there are perceptible regional variation in the climatic condition within the country. Let us take two important element, temperature and precipitation, and examine how they vary from place to place and season to season. In summer, the mercury occasionally touches 50 degrees centigrade in some part of Rajasthan desert, whereas it may be around 20 degrees centigrade in Pahalgam in Jammu Kashmir. On a winter's night, temperature in Dras in Jammu and Kashmir may be low as minus 45 degree centigrade in Tanjavur. Trivandanapuram, on the other hand, may have temperature of 22 degrees centigrade. 22 degrees centigrade. Let us now look at precipitation. There are variation not only in the form and type of the precipitation, but also in amount and the seasonal distribution. Precipitation, mostly in the form of snowfall in the upper part of Himalayas, it rain over the rest of the country. And the annual precipitation varies vary over 400 centimeter in Meghalaya, or to less than 10 degrees centigrade, 10 centimeter in Ladakh and western Rajasthan. Most part of the country received rainfall from June to September, but some part like Tamil Nadu coast get a large portion of it rain during the October and November. In general, coastal areas experience less contrast in temperature conditions, season contrast, and more in the interior of the country. There is a decrease in the rainfall generally from east to west. In the northern plains, there is variation have given rise to variation in lives of people. In terms of flood, they can eat the clothes they wear and also kind of houses and they live in. Climate controls. There are six major control of climate any place. There are latitude, altitude, pressure, wind system, distance from the sea, continuity, ocean current, and relief features. Due to the curvature of the Earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to the latitude. As a result, air temperature generally decreases from the equator toward the poles. As one goes from the surface of the earth to higher altitude, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. The hills are therefore cooler during the summer. The pressure and the wind system of any area depend on latitude and altitudes of the place. Thus it influence the temperature and rainfall pattern. The sea exert a moderating influence on climate. As a distance from the sea increase, it moderates influence decrease, and the pupil experience extreme weather condition. This condition is known as continentality. uh, I very hot during summer and very cold during winters. Ocean current, along with the one source with wind effect, with wind effect the climate of the coastal area. For example, any coastal area with warm or cold current flowing past it will warmed or cooled if the wind are the one source. Further, we just continue our reading. Finally, relief to play a major role in the determining the climate of place. High mountains act as barrier for cold or hot winds. They may also cause precipitation if they are high enough and lie in the path of the rain bearing wind. The leeward side of the mountain remain relatively dry. Factors affecting India's climate. Latitude. First, we have to read about latitudes, then altitudes. The latitudes, the Tropic of the Cancer passes through the middle of the country from the run of Kutch in the west of Mizoram in the east. Almost half of the country lying south of the Tropic of the Cancer belongs to the tropic area. All the remaining area north to the tropic lies in the subtropic. Therefore, India climate has the characterized of the tropic as well as subtropic climates. Altitudes. India has mountains to the north which have an average height of 6,000 meters. India also has a vast coastal area where the maximum elevation is about 30 meters. The Himalayas prevent the cold wind from the Central Asia from the entering the subcontinent. Is the because of these mountains that this subcontinent experience comparatively middle winter as compared to the Central Asia. Pressure and winds. The climate and the associated weather conditions in India are governed by the following atmospheric conditions. Atmospheric condition. First, pressure and the surface wind. Second, upper air circulation and western cyclonic disturbance and the tropical cyclones. India lie in the region of northeasterly winds. These winds originate from the subtropic pressure belt of the northern. Now we just continue our further reading. Hemisphere, they below words get deflected to the right due to the Coriolis force and move toward the equator. Low pressure area. Generally, these are winds that carry little moisture as they originate and blow over the land. Therefore, they bring little or no rain. Hence, India should have been an arid land, but it is not so. Let us see why. So first of all, we read Coriolis force, an apparent force caused by the Earth rotation. The Coriolis force is responsible for the deflection wind toward the right in the northern hemisphere and toward the left in the southern hemisphere. This is known as Ferris laws. Now just continue our further reading. The pressure and the wind condition over India and are unique during the winters. There is a high pressure area north of the Himalayas. Cold, dry winds blow from the region to the low pressure areas over the ocean to the south. In the summer, a low pressure area develop over in a interior Asia as well as over northwestern India. This causes a complete reversal of the direction of wind during the summer. Air moves from the high pressure area from the southern India in the southeasterly direction, crosses the equator and right turn toward the low pressure area over the Indian subcontinent. There are known as southern monsoon winds. These winds blow over the warm area, gather moisture, and bring widespread rainfall over the mainland of India. The monsoon type of the climate is characterized by the distinct season pattern. The weather condition greatly change from the one season to the other. These changes are particularly noticeable in the interior part of the country. The coastal areas do not experience much variation in temperature, though there are variation in rainfall pattern. How many seasons are experienced in the place for main seasons can be identified in India: the cold weather season and the hot season. Hot weather season, the advanced monsoon and the retrieving monsoon with some regional variation. The cold weather seasons, the winter weather season begin from the mid November in the northern India and stay till the February. December and January are the coldest month in the northern part of the India. The temperature decrease from the south to the north. The average temperature of Chennai on the eastern coast between 24 degrees centigrade to 50 degrees Celsius, while the northern plains it range between 10 degree and 10 degrees centigrade to 15 degrees centigrade. Day are warm and night are cold. Frost is common in the north and the higher slopes of the Himalayas experience snowfall. During the season of the northwest trade wind prevail over the country. They blow from the land to the sea, and hence for the most part of the country it is a dry season. Some amount of rainfall occur on the Tamil Nadu coast from these winds are as here they blow from the sea to land in the northern part of the country. A feeble high pressure region developed with a light wind moving outward from the area influenced by the relief. These winds blow through the Ganga Valley from the west on the northwest. The weather is normally marked by the clear sky, low temperature, and high humidity and feeble variable winds. A characteristic feature of the cold weather season over a northern plains in the inflow of the cyclic disturbance from the west and the northwest. The low pressure system originate over the Mediterranean Sea and the Western Asia and move into the India along with the westerly flow. They cause much needed winters rain over the plain and the snowfall in the mountain. All through the total amount of winter for rainfall locally known as Mahavat is sorry Mahavat is small. They are immense importance for the cultivation of rabi crop. The peninsular region does not have a well-defined cold season. There is hardly any noticeable season change in temperature pattern during the winter due to the moderating influence of the sea. Further, we just see the map of advanced monsoon. Just air come from the Lakshadweep and go to Chennai sides. Here you see the map, and now we continue on our further reading. The hot weather season summer due to the apparent northward movement of the sun. The global heat belt shift northward as such from the March to May. It is a hot weather season in India. The influence of shifting of the heat belt can be seen clearly from the temperature recording taken during the March May at a different latitude. In March, the highest temperature is about 38 degrees centigrade recorded on the Deccan Plateau. In April, temperatures in the Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are around 42 degrees centigrade. In May, temperature of 45 degrees centigrade is common in the northwestern part of the country. In peninsular India, temperature remained lower due to the moderating influence of the ocean. The summer month experienced rising temperature and falling air pressure in the northern part of the country toward the end of May, and an elongated low pressure area developed in the region, extended from the Thar Desert in the northwest to the Patna and Chota Nagpur plateau in the east and the southwest. Circulation of air began to set in around this tough. A striking feature of the hot weather season is the loo. These are strong, gusty, hot, dry winds blowing during the day over the north and northwestern India. Sometimes sometimes they even continue until the late in the evening. Directions exposure to these winds may even prove to be fatal. Dust storms are very common during the month of May in the North India. These storms bring temperature relief as they are lower, and the temperature and may bring the high light rain and the coast breeze, cool breeze. This is also season or localized thunderstorm associated with the violent wind, torrential downpour, often accompanied by the hail in the West Bengal. These storms are known as the cool Vaisakhi. Toward the closer to the summer season, pre-monsoon shower are commonly, especially in the Kerala and Karnataka. They help in the early ripening of mangoes and are often referred to as mango shower. Advancing monsoon, the rainy season. By early June, the low pressure condition over the northern plains intensifies. It attracts the trade winds to the southern hemisphere. These southeast trade winds originate from the warm subtropic areas of the southern ocean. They cross the equator and they cross the equator and blow in the southwesterly direction, entering the Indian Peninsula as the southwest monsoon. As these winds blow over the warm oceans, they bring abundant moistures to the subcontinent. These winds are strong and blow at the average velocity of 30 kilometer per hour, with the expectation of the extreme northwest. The monsoon wind cover the country in the about of the month. Inflow of the southwest monsoon in the India bring about a total change in the weather. Easy early in the season, the windward side of the Western Ghat receive the heavy rainfall more than 250 centimeter. The Deccan Plateau and part of the Madhya Pradesh also receive amount of rain in the spite of lying in the rain shadow area. The maximum rainfall of the season is received in the northeastern part of the country. Maswaram in the southern range of Khasi Hills receives the highest rainfall in the world. Rainfall in the Ganga Valley decreases from the east to west. Rajasthan and the part of Gujarat get secondly scanty rainfall. Another phenomena associated with the monsoon is it tendency to have a break in the rainfall. Thus, it has a wet and dry spells. In the other words, the monsoon rain lake take in our only for few days at a time. They are interspreads with a rainless interval. These break in monsoon are related to the movement of the monsoon student of for the variation seasons. The throw of and its axis keep on moving on northward or southward, which determines and the spatial distribution of rainfall. When the axis of the movement monsoon throw lies over the plains, rainfall is a good in these part. On the other hand, whenever the axis shift closer to the Himalayas, therefore the longer dry spell in the plains, and the widespread rain occur in the mountainous catchment areas of the Himalayas river. The heavy rain brings in uh, और यहाँ पे we just see the map of India and the trade winds and the monsoon season. Now we are going on a further reading. Their weak, devastating floods causing damage to the life and property in the plains. The frequency and intensity of tropical depression to determine the amount and the duration of the monsoon rain. These depressions form ahead of the Bay of the Bengal and cross over the mainland. The depression flow the axis of the monsoon through a low pressure. The monsoon is known for uncertainty. The alternation of the alternation of dry and wet spell vary in high intensity, frequency, and duration. While it cause heavy flood in one part, it may be responsible for drought in the other. It is often irregular in its arrival and its retrieval. Hence, it sometimes disturb the farming schedule of millions of the farmers all over the country. Retrieving point monsoon, the transition season during the October-November, with the apparent movement of the sun toward the sun and the sun movement through or the low pressure through over the northern plains become weaker. This is gradually replaced by a high pressure system. The southwest monsoon winds weaker and start withdrawing gradually by the beginning of the October. The monsoon withdrawal from the northern plain. The month of the October and November from the period of transition from the hot rainy season to dry winter's condition. The retreat of the monsoon is marked by the clear skies and rise in the temperature. While day temperature are high, night are cool and pleasant. The land is still moist owing to the condition of high temperature and humidity, and the weather become rather obsessive during the day. This is a commonly known as October heat. In the second half of the October, the mercury begin to the fall rapidly in the North India. The low pressure condition over northwestern India get transferred to the Bay of Bengal by early November. This shift is associated with the occurrence of the cyclones dispersion which originate over the and Andaman Sea. These cyclones generally cross the eastern coast of India, cause heavy, widespread rain. These tropic cyclones are often very disruptive. The thickly populated deltas of the Godavari, the Krishna, and the Kaveri are frequency struck by the cyclone, which caused great damage to the life and property. Sometimes these cyclones at the coast of the Odisha, West Bengal, and Bangladesh. The bulk of the rainfall of the Coromandel coast in the derived from the depression and the cyclones. Distribution of rainfall. The part of the western coast and the northern eastern India receives over about 400 centimeter of the rainfall annually. However, it is less than 60 centimeter in western Rajasthan and the adjoining part of Gujarat, Haryana, and Punjab. Rainfall is equally low in the interior of the Deccan Plateau and the low of the Sadras. Why do the religion receive? Sorry, reason receive rainfall region receive low rainfall. A third area of the low precipitation is around Leh in the Jammu and Kashmir. The rest of the country receive moderate rainfall. Snowfall is restricted to the Himalayas region owing to the nature months of the monsoon. The annual rainfall is highly variable from the year to year. Variable in high in the region of the low rainfall is such as a part of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and the leeward side of the Western Ghat, such as the wild areas of the high rainfall are liable to the affected by the flood, and areas of the low rainfall are drought prone. monsoon and as a unifying bond. We you have already know about the way the Himalayas protect the subcontinent from the extremely cold wind from the Central Asia. This enable northern India to have a uniform higher temperature compared to the other areas on the same latitude. Similarly, the peninsula plateau, under the influence of the sea from the three sides, has moderate temperature, and despite such, here we search the map of India, and here we the so the some news about the some urgent and other things. Now our reading is now or almost finished. So moderating influences, there are great variation in the temperature conditions. Nevertheless, the unifying influence of the monsoon on the Indian subcontinent is quite precipitate. The season alternating of the wind of the wind system and associated weather conditions provide a rhythmic cyclic of the season. Even the uncertainty of rain and uneven distribution are very much typical of the season. The Indian landscape, its animal and plant life, it entirely agriculture entire agriculture calendar, and the life of the pupil include these festival revolve around the phenomena year after year. The people of India, from the north to south and from east to west, eagerly await the arrival of the monsoon. These monsoon winds bind the whole country to provide water to set agricultural activities in motion. The rivers valley and the carry water are very also unite as a single river valley unit. Here we see the exercises and the other curriculum activities of the exercises. Or now we just finish our chapter. Thanks for listening me.